And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 345. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great weekend that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation with Shawn Cav. And this is going to be his first appearance on the show. If you guys actually know where Shawn Cav usually does content with, it's primarily on Rumble with who we had his co-host on the show at some point. I think it was his second appearance not too long ago, or his first appearance. I can't remember. I'm getting old at this point. You're friends with Whiskey Capitalist, and that's Ian, who runs that show, and you co-host that with him. You're the guy that's on Mondays and Wednesdays, right?
Wednesdays now. Yeah, we also have Channel 2 Action News, who he helps out on Mondays. So like Ian's like the regular, like Monday and Wednesday, and then I'm just the Wednesday co-host now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, it works out great with my schedule. Things get crazy busy. And you know, like my schedule, and like thank goodness, you know, like Ian's been pretty flexible with what we've been able to work out and stuff like that. But like my Wednesday's been like my regular thing over there. So that's been fun.
Awesome. So as you know, with superheroes, you always gotta have the origin story. So just in case you appear on the show's life expectancy in the second and third appearance down the road, you will not have to do this again. So let's start with the beginning part of your life and then work our way up. So how was your life growing up, actually? Did you go to private school, public school? Were you homeschooled, actually?
Oh, public school for sure. I mean, like, I think that's how you build the most character, you know. You just gotta deal with the most personalities. You all throw them into a mixing pot and just kind of see what comes out. And you know, quite honestly, like, I think it was a good experience for me. You know, I went to just like normal kind of like smallish town, like a little bit more rural.
Where did you grow up?
And New Jersey, North Jersey.
Oh, you're from Jersey. Okay.
Yeah. Those are my peoples, man. And then
so we didn't see you on the Jersey Shore back in the day. What the heck?
No. I mean, I knew all those spots. Believe me, in summertime would roll around, like we were all down at the shore. That's for sure. But like,
oh god,
no, like, yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that was like a summer thing for sure, going down like to Belmar and like Neptune and all that. But like Ocean City, like I don't know, typical spots and whatnot. Ocean City's a dry county anymore, but like, so not really much happening there. But I think Jenks is still there. I think, I don't know. Sandy wiped out a few spots as well. So like, it's the Jersey Shore. I don't know. It's Seaside's untouched.
What you're basically, time. I know what you're trying to get at. You went there to pick up chicks like they did. Because what else are you supposed to do?
Who didn't? I mean, it was summertime. Yeah, of course you did.
Did you land a good amount of them? Because they're probably pretty easy girls up there.
Well, I mean, like, yeah. I don't know. Is that where you want to go with it?
No, I was just saying. Like, I'm sorry, because if anyone who calls you racist on Twitter, if you said, "Hey, I had a black girl a few nights in that mix," it's like,
well, yeah, I was never prejudiced in the sense of like, you know, like, who I was willing to bring home.
No, you brought him on a Shaniqua. Oh my god,
no,
Shawn,
I did.
What are you
but
doing?
like, I wouldn't say no either.
Oh gosh. Oh my god. See, what did the Shaniquas do to you? Were you listening to too much freaking
I divulged too much, but like there was definitely a few opportunities there, but I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. But like, still, I was like, could have. So, not racist.
All right. So it's the other thing you had said, which was you throw them onto a melting pot and see what happens. It's like that.
That's kind of what public school is, man. You get like all kinds of different personalities in there, and you get like some like tough kids. You get some like really kind of like wallflower types, and then you just kind of like, I don't know, the teachers and whatnot. They just kind of like throw you into groups, and you just kind of like you build your character, man. Like, I don't know, that was my experience growing up and like going to public school and everything. Like high school for me, like that was where I built the most character for sure. Like that was like where you kind of like you break out of like your shell and you really just kind of like figure out like who the hell you're gonna be. You know, like, are you just gonna like, you know, be that wallflower? Are you gonna be a little more confident? You're gonna go out there and like, you know, talk to the girls, or are you gonna just go and pursue the career that you want to do? Like, are you gonna be like more like gun ho about just like wanting the things in life? And that's something that like they don't really teach you in high school. It's just something that you experience and you have to kind of like do for yourself. But some people like experience that in college then too. I don't know if you like if you went to college or not.
Oh
Like,
no, I was poor and black. That wasn't an option.
okay, yeah, like, and for me, I just went to like community college. I didn't do anything crazy, but I
Yeah,
again, you experience like even more different personalities and whatnot, and that was something where it's like, all right, well, going to a lot of different places, like meeting new people and whatnot, and then you just slowly develop into who you essentially you're going to end up being for the rest of your life for the most part.
yeah. I did go to community college. I did. I went for
Mhm.
about one semester in the spring. It was pretty fun, I would say. It was overall a pretty fun experience, but it's one of those things where it's like I just hate schooling in general. Like I
Yeah.
absolutely hate it. And then I had to do summer school. Then that meant doing classes online, and I was like, I just don't like this. I hate it. I got that imposter syndrome. I'm like, why am I opening a book and studying at my age? That's the literal things I was saying to myself. I was like, I hate this. I'm done. I'm leaving this. And I didn't go back, man. That was, I think, around maybe 2017,
Mhm.
2018 period. Last time I even
You're
opened a school book.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong with just like questioning, like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Like, and I think that was like one of the better questions I got when I ended up returning back to school, like later on in life. Like, I went back to go and get like a degree in music, and when I went to go and do that, it was because like I had been already out gigging professionally and whatnot, and I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I want to be like accredited to where I could like land like an adjunct position, or I could work with like an actual like orchestra, and like like I wanted to like land like better roles, work with like theaters, like and be an actual like staff musician type deal, like land those types of jobs. And because I play it all, like I've played everything. I've done jazz, rock, country,
Oh,
like
that was your profession. You're a musician. Okay, got
oh
it.
yeah, I was a musician for a very long time, and I did a lot of touring and played with a lot of different people, and got to do a lot of different things, which was great. It was a great experience and whatnot. But like, I wanted to go back and like, because like I had like a day job, and then the writing was on the wall. Like that job was going to be ending soon. I was like, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to take this opportunity where I'm going to be able to collect. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to like get like a proper education, get my bachelor's, and then get out. And when I went back, I like one of the professors asked me when I was signing up, it's like, why are you here? And I thought it was kind of a condescending question, because like, well,
Mm.
shit, I just paid you like thousands of my hard-earned dollars that like to be here, and I want you to teach me so I can like go and get like a decent gig. And it's like, well, the question really was asking me like, well, what's your purpose being here? Like, is there anything better you could be doing with your time than being here right now? And I didn't think of it like that at the time, but like thinking back on it, I was like, okay, yeah, that was actually a very important question, because what I realized in that like semester I was there. So then I went to like Kutztown University, and when I went over to Kutztown for like their music program, like it's a great music school and whatnot. But like when I was there, I realized that there was all these kids there that like there was like their first year in college, and they were like younger than me, like much younger, and they had never gigged professionally before, and they had no idea what the real world of playing in like the music industry was like. Like they didn't know how much to charge for like session work. They didn't know how much to charge for like filling in on like a sub gig locally versus like being on tour and asking for like a rider, and like how much you're going to get paid per show, while like what you're going to get on your per diems on days off. Yeah, like the questions you have to ask, and if you don't know to ask it, people aren't going to tell you, or they're not going to pay you, because if they can cut corners and not have to pay you stuff, like that's what they're going to do. So you have to learn like what to do. And I noticed that none of these classes were like about the music business. It was more or less like,
Yeah.
okay, well, here's your circle of fifths, and then you're gonna go and you're gonna play these scales, and then we're gonna work on like the vocal skills. And like, this is stupid. Like, I know how to do all this shit. I never had to take a fucking class like this. Like, I took lessons when I was a kid, and I learned more paying like $20 to $40 like a lesson to like private instructors than I ever did from like the professors that were at the college. So like, you know, for anybody who's out there interested in like learning music, like, or like thinking about like, I'm going to go to school for music, don't waste your fucking time doing that. Go and learn from the people who are actually out there doing it, that are professionals. Like when I say professionals, like they're working regularly, being paid, like
Yes.
you know, and like they are doing it, they are actually doing the thing that you want to be doing. Learn from those people, because it's, first off, it's going to be way more affordable, and you're going to learn real useful skills, like you know, whether it's like playing like ability wise, or it's actual like knowledge as to like going into certain scenarios. Like, oh, I just got hired to record bass on like this chick's album, and she's going to record 10 songs. Like, how do I go about like, you know, charging her? Do I charge her per song? Do I charge her for the entire session? Do I charge her for this, that, whatever? So like you have to start like thinking like that. And you know, like when I started actually like teaching these kids like in the hallways. Like they would approach me and they would start asking me questions of like, oh well, so I got offered this gig, I think it's a really good opportunity, what do you think, should I take it? And I was like, well, I would ask them all these questions, like, well, I don't know the answer to that. I'm like, go back and ask, and then like, you know, figure it out, see if it fits what you're trying to do. And like the writing on the wall for me, when I knew I was done with the college experience and the higher education system, was when a few of the kids that I got along great with, and they were really, really skilled musicians. Like I was always so impressed with like a bunch of the kids there, but there was a couple of them that were humble about what their ability and could really play. And to me, like that's really, really important. You got to be able to, you have to be good and not be overly cocky. Know that you're good, but don't be a douchebag about it either. So like there's a fine line you walk
Oh,
with
I
that.
never got that second motto. Don't be a douchebag. No, that was just a part of me.
No.
That part just
So
always came out no matter what.
these other kids that they asked me is like, oh, well, would you want to come and do the cafe night with us? And it's like, oh, well, like sure. Like what's going on with it? It's like, oh yeah, we go down to the cafe down here and we play for like 3 hours. Like the director of the jazz department books it for everybody in the department, or that is part of like the music I guess classes or something like that there. And I was like, okay, so like what does it pay? And they're like, oh no, you don't get paid. I'm like, wait, so this is a restaurant, right? It's like, oh yeah, it's not part of the school, right? Like, and you're not getting credits for this. This is something that you can sign up to go and do, right? He's like, yeah. Like, okay, they're selling food and alcohol at this place, right? Yeah, okay. And you're providing entertainment. Okay, you're providing a service. They're making money off of anybody that you invite to come and see you there. You are essentially a subcontractor inside that building. You should be getting paid. And like they're like there's just deer in headlights. They all just kind of like mouths hit the ground, like, oh, I never thought of it like that. It's like, yeah, like to me, it's like this is what I've been doing for years. Like, of course, you got to know to ask to get paid or don't do it, you know. And the names just slowly stopped filling out the form. Like people stopped signing up. And then like the guy who was running the whole thing, he was going over, hey, we got a lot of empty slots on this upcoming Wednesday's thing. Like, is anybody gonna do it? And like everyone would just be quiet. And then I think word got out that I was the one telling people that they should be getting paid for what they're doing. I said to him, like, most likely if you're not getting paid, the guy who's booking this is getting a kickback then or something. So to me, I thought like this guy who's running the department, maybe he's getting some money on the side because of this whole thing. So I kind of outed the whole thing to the kids. And at that point, the director of the jazz department hated me. Like he would scowl at me in the halls, and he stopped talking to me after that. Like he had no words for me. And I was like, I'm sorry, dude, but you're the one like deceiving these kids. Like you're the douche, like not me. I was the one being honest with them. I was telling them the truth. So I don't know. To me, I was like, I knew I was done. I was like, I think I'm out of here.
What year was that when all that went down?
Great question. I maybe 2000, maybe 14 or 15.
Okay, so like
2014.
mid 2010s era. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
So that thing you said earlier about them not teaching about the actual business. So
Yeah.
Gray Poupe, who's on the show, the panel ones, he
Mhm.
talks about being in the music industry too because he was a musician himself too.
Okay.
And when they because he always goes over this too because I knew this from people talking about it a lot. It's like what we thought about the music industry was not how it was actually going. So like, the like you have a record label, they take a cut of everything, and there's some people that are the biggest musicians in the world. They're not rich. Like, what the hell's
Sure.
going on here? So, did you ever have any experiences like that where you almost went like I would say like mainstream, and you had almost a record deal? Did you ever get to that point?
Sure. There was this. It's such a weird experience, and like whenever I explain this or I describe this situation to people, like I always get weird, like either get a weird look or a laugh from the whole thing. But like I basically was like a hired musician for like a Disney princess type scenario.
Oh, okay.
So like,
Were
when
you
I
the
say
person that
that,
would be like composing the score of a movie or
no,
something?
no, no. I mean, like one of like the Disney like actress type people that was like going out and doing like doing like songs or something like that. So like this was somebody that went out, got approved by Disney to be in one of the shows. The show never got launched. It was kind of like a pilot type scenario that they were part of, but they were still doing music and whatnot. And then they had a studio and an agency and a label that were backing them, and they needed a band. And I was hired to do this like whole Disney showcase thing, believe it or not. Like, and I say Disney, even though it wasn't like an official Disney thing, it was a bunch of these like, like child like actors or actresses, a lot of child actresses, and like they needed a band to play the 30 some odd songs throughout the evening for all of them to sing. So I was basically like in like as you would in the theater, like the pit, so like I'm like kind of like in the background, part of the rock band playing, and a lot of these were for videos for like to showcase them to send off to different like studios and whatnot. It's like a whole like image type thing that they were trying to do. So with that, me and the rest of the band that played that evening, we got picked to go and back the one girl they were forming like a rock like band behind her. So then we would do we were at the Stone Pony in South Amboy like maybe like every week for like I don't know months. Like for like we were there. We played a lot at the Stone Pony, and that was just like a regular thing for us for a while. And it was just kind of like getting her the experience on stage, and then like we were just like just playing the same set like all the time. That's just what we did. So it just became muscle memory. You just go and do it. And like I had so many musicians swap out. I was like the only long standing like one that stayed there for the longest time. And then eventually they just got rid of the entire band. I knew the writing was on the wall. Like when they started swapping out the members to go like all towards like an all girl band, when they were doing that, I was the last guy standing. I was like, this is it. Like I'm the next one to be cut. I'm just waiting for them to not call me anymore. And then that's exactly what happened.
It's crazy. Even though you've worked with Disney in some way, isn't it very weird that people will actively still defend them even though they have no idea of what actually goes on? Like, I'm not saying that they've treated everybody bad because it's not just Disney, the corporation, it's people who work under Disney in those specific departments doing that. But I do find it weird that so even someone like Gina Carano, who's literally worked with the people of that specific company, and then to go on Twitter, say this is her experience of something happening, and then someone who's never been through that, doesn't know what happened, and just takes the word of the company over the person that's telling you, even though we're supposed to be believing this idea that we're supposed to believe all women, It's like,
yeah, double-edged sword with that one.
yeah, it's like these people literally proclaim to be like the most anti-corporation people ever, but then anyone that speaks out of a corporation, they immediately just start defending the corporation on anything. Even though there's some things that a corporation that are right, technically from a business point of view, but then there's times where it's just like, dude, are you getting paid by these people? Like, that's why when people say on Twitter, there's probably just like fake bots that run up the engagement to drive it. Has to be
There
that.
are those. There are like the bots that are just like there to shit talk and basically just to promote and push like those types of corporations. Of course, there's that. And then for the people like the grown adults who think that Disney can do no wrong, like those are like the Disney adults. Yeah, I'm sure you've probably seen like the
I've
videos
seen
of
them.
Disney adults. Yeah, like it's fucking creepy and weird, dude. Like those people are fucked, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like that was never my experience, because my experience was just kind of like, all right, those people have the affiliation with that stuff, like with like media and TV and all that. That wasn't me. I was on the music side of things, and I was more like part of the studio. The studio like paid more attention to like what me and the other musicians were doing. They were the ones that set up our like tour schedule, and making sure like we had like backline for everything, and like
Okay.
we got to do like the whole like little like
You never
rock
got
star
a chance
experience.
to talk to Bob Iger ever.
No, nothing like that. But
You
yeah,
never
no,
had
it was
you never had
definitely
Papa Iger
cool.
come in and be like, "Hey guys, music ain't selling. You're all fired."
No, it was a cool experience though. I got to do like some like decent touring, and like I would say that probably the coolest experience I got to do was probably the last tour I did with them, that which was like Colorado, Utah, like I think yeah, it's out that way. And when we did it, we had the sound crew from like one of the guys from like The Voice. I forget like which singer it was that like won The Voice, but like his sound crew was the people that were doing the sound and stage production for us. And those guys, like the warehouse there was just amazing, because like I show up and like, well, what do you like to play through? I'm like, well, I prefer like an Ampeg SVT, if classic, if you got one. It's like, okay, yeah, no, we got you. We'll get you something. So I get to the stage, and like it's like an hour and a half before like the showtime. We're just doing like a sound check, and they have like, I don't know if you're familiar with like gear at all or nothing like that, but like there was like an Ampeg SVT VR, which the difference between the classic and the VR is about like, was it 700 watts of power, and the VR is just ridiculously overpowered for anything that I needed. And it was just that was the one that they gave me, and I couldn't really play. I couldn't play. It was too much power behind it. I was like, I can't do this, man. And then it's like, oh, do you need something different? Like, do you have a classic? That's what I was looking for. Like, oh yeah, come with me. And then like we go through the back, and then like they have stacks of them, just like everywhere. And like these are like, just, I don't know, not necessarily hard to come by amps, but like they're expensive. Like everything there is like super expensive and whatnot. And then like I set it up the way I like it, and then they took photos and notes of everything of what I did. And then for the rest of the shows, all I did was I showed up at like showtime, and then like it was all set up for me. It was like that was like the true like kind of like rock star experience, where it's like you
Yeah.
show up early, you do a quick little sound check. Okay, good. Off to dinner, go hang out for a while, come back, play the show, and then just leave everything there, head back to the hotel, and then they take everything and they bring it to the next show. And I was like, oh, that was such a cool experience. And then like I come back home and I'm playing like 3 back-to-back gigs local, where I'm like just hauling all my own gear like down like a city block to get into like a venue, and I have to carry it and throw it up on stage and do everything myself, and I'm running the soundboard because the guy there doesn't know what he's doing. So it's kind of like a humbling experience of just like, wow, I just went from like the tippy top to like the next day I'm like back down here, and that's kind of like the truth of the music business, I would say. Like, because like there's musicians in my area, like the bass player for Ted Nugent lives maybe like, I don't know, 20 minutes away or so, and he plays with all kinds of different like tribute bands throughout the rest of the year, and then he'll do like a Nugent tour, and then like they'll he just kind of has like a circuit, but then like to fill up the time, he'll also play locally. He'll just go and play a couple of the bars in the area. So like there's like this huge fluctuation of expectations, I would say, like that come from being a musician.
So when that Disney gig you ended up getting, you said let go from, when was that?
When I get let go from that, um, I would say probably like 2019, 2020.
Okay, so all of your experiences with Disney were from, yeah, the later 2010 period that a lot of people started having problems with the company too.
Yeah, I would say like the last like kind of tour that we did was during I think it was during COVID. I think it was during COVID that we did that.
Wow.
And yeah, like
They're going to put you guys in danger of that virus just to play. But then again, danger of the virus,
oh yeah, because I mean like when in restaurants, if you sat down low enough, the virus is always up here. It couldn't get you. Couldn't get you as long as you were seated at your table. The minute you stood up, you were at risk, though.
It's crazy
All
because
that stupid shit.
I come from Yu-Gi-Oh, and we actually had a Yu-Gi-Oh famous Yu-Gi-Oh card played by a character named Seto Kaiba. It was a famous card called Crush Card Virus. So there was a bunch of viruses cards that Konami made in like 2019 as a virus deck. I'm always thinking like, did Konami know something? They made a legit virus deck before that happened. But well, you know what's a crazy thing that when you look at how Disney has been kind of moving forward in this odd direction, so many things will contradict them and what they do and how they operate. Like we'll use the writer strike, for example. So they had that writer strike, right? And then the writer strike pretty much when it was all said and done, things were going to get lessened, right? Less scripted drama with TV and a lot of other less stuff because, for a lot of the business reasons that they had to basically, I'll say compromise with those people on. And then now you're seeing like a lot of these companies merge. And I think it's because people are starting to realize, hey, the writing's kind of on the wall here. Things are not going as good as everyone thought they were. Because like, I'm pretty sure the person that was running your thing told you this. The business only sees things as money going up and up and up. They don't like seeing things go down. Things going down to them is bad, right? And then now
yes,
we're
business
at
101.
Yeah. And then now we're at this point where is Disney Plus profitable for them? I don't know. I mean, that's what they said was going to happen by 2025. That's what Bob Chapek said, but is it really a profitable venture running that streaming service and paying all those people to run the service, all the content you have to make for it, all that stuff? I just don't think these companies are doing as good as they say. They have to say they're doing good because, well, they have to just sell you a false bill of goods because that's just what they do. They can't tell you everything's on fire and burning. It's not what they're going to do,
I suppose, but I mean, like, you think about it, Disney's huge. Like it's massive. Like between like the multiple different channels that they have, like in like
and the theme parks, they have that too.
Well, well, that's what I'm saying. Like the theme parks as well, and like the theme parks are just ridiculously expensive as like on top of it. So I don't know, is it profitable or not? Like I don't know. A streaming service to me like seems like it would be pretty self-sufficient considering like you throw something up there online, you're paying for the server space, but like if it's up there and then people are using it, then okay. And like they have like Disney Plus part of like a bunch of different packages like ESPN, Disney Plus, and Hulu. Like there's different like package like streaming things that are out there like that. I'm not trying to do any kind of commercials for these types of things, but I know that they exist. You're looking it up, aren't you?
Oh, no. Someone messaged me for work, actually. So the other thing I wanted to ask you was, do you lean pretty much conservative? You would be like considered right-leaning, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. So were you ever a Democrat before, or you just grew up more conservative or right-leaning?
I think majority of us have always been pretty much like classic liberals. I think like there's a good majority of us that would always consider ourselves to be like the classic liberal of like maybe like a 90s liberal where like because basically like we didn't move, like the spectrum shifted when it came to the politics, like because you just get more and more drastic like extreme leftism moving further and further away from like the moderates, which a moderate left and a moderate right, it's really just like little tiny differences between the two. It's not massive,
And
like
even
a
those little
moderate's a
tiny
moderate.
differences mean that you basically can't even talk to each other. Well, what's crazy is that whenever I would discuss
Because everyone
politics with
moves
people,
to the extreme.
right? Yeah. The thing that happened with politics a long time ago, that whenever you were talking with someone about something, you would just say your point. You'd be like, hey, this is what I believe. They would say what they believe. Even if you disagree, you'd be like, all right, cool. It's awesome. But now it's like, hey, I say what I believe. You're a racist, bigot, homophobe, Nazi. Like, what? You're like, bro, what?
Because they were instructed or they were like taught to say those things when they encounter someone that disagrees with them, or that they literally get shocked into just like disbelief that like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody would think the opposite of me. And like they're wondering like, and I would really make them question, is it even like your own thought? Because I've gotten into like, arguments even with like people are far more conservative than myself. Like I'm definitely like pretty like far onto like the right side of things. I would never consider myself far right or nothing like that. I would say like definitely like right smack dab in the middle of just definitely conservative. I do have some moderate leanings at times. But that's why I'm also somebody who's willing to hear out like an opposing argument and also like adapt my thought process if something makes sense. And I think that's it. The one skill that the Democrats today, the left, they've just basically they've abandoned the ability to listen to an opposing argument and find the nuggets of like good that might be in it for them. They're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I could understand this, or I could understand that. They're unable to see things from a different perspective. And you have these commentators out there that aren't willing to just think critically about something and view something from the opposite like POV. Instead, they just immediately go with whatever the narrative is, and it's like, well, Orange Man bad. Orange Man, he said something negative about Rosie O'Donnell, so therefore he's a misogynist. And oh, she's a Jew now, so he's anti-Semitic. Clearly, oh, and he's homophobic because she's a dyke. So it's like it's just one thing after another, just stacking it up. And they create these narratives of hate and that's kind of like where things begin to snowball, because you could take somebody as extremely moderate as Charlie Kirk and they demonized him into like like saying like, oh well, he said so many hateful things about women and Jews and this and that's. Like, what the fuck are you
They should
talking
never
about?
read the tweets that I put out about women. Woo! They would heads were spin.
Where are you coming from with this shit? And like they try to like say like, oh well, he was racist. Like, find one moment that he was actually being racist. Oh, he talks about the 13% and causing 50% of the crime. Like, that's an actual statistic. Like, like math and numbers aren't racist. Okay, like so like if and like the words like per capita are scary too to some as well. But like when it comes to saying like, oh, it's not even 13%, like it's really like 6 or 7% when you really think about it, because it would be like black males causing 50% of the crime. Like it's a crime statistic. Okay, does that mean that it fits every single crime? Absolutely not. Are there white people in prison? Absolutely. There's white people commit the most like serial killers and whatnot. It's like, okay,
black people, what's crazy about people do the common, people say they don't like politicians, but then they adapt all politician mannerisms and maneuvers. A politician will do this. They'll say the thing that you just said. Well, black people are, well, no, a Democrat will say more like a Democratic person will be like, hey, white people do just about as much crime as black people. And then before they actually even go into that, what if people don't notice is I've watched a lot of them do it. They just go and start talking about the other thing. Another thing completely different from what is said. So they never actually even go into the thing they're talking about, because they know if they start going into the thing they're talking about, people are going to see them a certain type of way. Whereas with like right-leaning people, what I've noticed is that when they go into something, they'll go into it, but then some of their nuances get a little messed up because they're looking at it just so black and white, but there is nuance to it. And then people get mad at them for not going into it in a more of a nuanced way. But the thing that I don't like when the other side does those kind of things is because like, if you don't actually go into why you came up with that thought process you have, it's kind of meaningless though. It'll be like, if I just told you, if you asked me like, what's my favorite food? Let's just say I said pizza. Okay, yeah, food is a little bit more different of a discussion to have because it's pretty super subjective about what your food tastes are. But when you're talking about serious things like that, even if you don't want to even use statistics, you need to tell me why you got that thought process from. Is it from your own anecdotal life experience, or is it from anything actually backed by data? Because if you're just saying these things because you just think that these people are incapable of being oppressed against, what the fuck are you talking about? Because the numbers don't show that, so you're clearly lying. And the thing that you brought up that's really key, in that 13% you're talking about, what makes it even more disgusting is that when you said it's like more than half, that's even worse. That means it's like 6% of black people, black men, causing a lot of this crime. and it makes the other 7% look bad. Now, in that kind of small statistic right there, people say that black people don't call it out enough. I've seen plenty of black people call it out, but this is where life ends up getting fucked up for a lot of people. Guys, we can sit here and call it as much. There's nothing we can do about it. People are gonna do crime. This is a bad thing to say, but it's happening. People are literally getting robbed and mugged right now when we're doing this show. There's nothing we can do about it. We can call it all we want, but there's nothing we can do about it. But what needs to happen more is people on that side need to call it out more. Not black people. I've seen enough black people do it, but as you know, because you get the number right there, which is true. Black people make up like 13.62% of people in the country. Doesn't matter because, like you said before, it's like 7% of people saying that. 7% of people saying that doesn't mean anything. Now, if a lot of white people, Mexican, Jews, Amish people, Puerto Ricans start saying it, then you start getting into some big territory there because then you have a bigger influence of people that are talking about it, right? Because I just don't think enough black people are enough to make a change because they're just too small, honestly, you know? And then again, you have the Democrat people who they're like, well, they had to do this because that's already bad. Just because you're poor does not give you a right to go and rob someone or rob a bank or steal. That doesn't give you any right to do that. Honestly,
yeah, I know. I think it's pretty disgusting when you have someone like AOC out there like making excuses, and they'll create these gaslit examples of like someone's just trying to steal bread to feed their family. It's like, okay, are they going to feed their family that 50-inch flat screen too? No? Oh, okay. So is that constituted as looting, or is it just because like you didn't look at that one? And like to get back to what I was saying before, like when they bring up like white people constitute more serial killers than black people, and when they try to like flip it like that, say, oh, white people are worse. White people are serial killers. What do you consider a mass shooting? Like what would you consider like Chicago? You know, like if like you have like a shootout and several people die, so that's not killing, like, you know, a series of killings. No.
Or their arguments would be like ban guns, and it's like, first of all, no one can ever do that based on the Second Amendment. You just can't do that. It would never even pass. Then the second thing to bring up is a lot of people actually don't get this about guns. Guns, the reason why they would cause a lot of the problems people say are not from let's say you had a gun, you went in and registered it, and you went to like a gun shop and just bought some bullets and you went in shooting. You as a person that just did that are not the problem with why guns are dangerous. Why guns are dangerous, by their logic, is that basically someone could just go and get one and just start shooting the place up. But they think it's because we're not having enough gun enforcement. That's not true. There's a lot of places, a lot of states here in America, if you guys are just listening to this and you're over the seas, there are places like New York, my state, a lot of places that have strict gun laws. It doesn't matter. You can literally make the strictest gun laws possible. Most of the gun crime is done by people getting guns through underhanded means. So gang violence and all types of crime. Those people do most of that. They sell guns illegally to people. That's what's causing all that gun crime. Not a person walking into a shop buying some bullets because they just like shooting at the range or something like that. It's not happening. It's statistically not true, right? So what they do is like, we should ban all guns. All right, cool. Let's just ban all cars. Cars cause more deaths per year than guns. Want to ban all the cars then? You would never see anyone argue that, right? Because
ban the food. People die of heart disease and obesity all the time as well. So like start banning food.
Yeah, or you could use we'll go smaller because people like saying we gotta ban small stuff to get the big stuff. All right, so let's just say randomly a parent who's a piece of shit feeds their 8-month-old baby steak and the baby chokes to death. So does that mean that none of us should ever have steak again because that parent fucked us up from having steak? You know, then we're not people going like, steak lives matter. It's like, no, that's a joke. But, you know, it's one of these things where I just don't get people. It's like you have to tackle the root of the actual problem. The problem with guns is just bad people getting them through underhanded means and selling them to people. Not places with stricter gun laws. You can have more stricter gun laws. It won't change shit. We've had stricter gun laws for years. It doesn't change anything. Changes nothing.
I've had this like argument with like someone on the left before, and like just like when we get into the gun thing, it's like I would point out to the fact it's like, all right, like if I pull out like my handgun and I put it on the table, it's not going to jump up and shoot you. Like I'm not going to be the one that points it at you. There's nothing dangerous about that gun right now because it's being handled with care. It's like it's being respected and used responsibly. Like that's the thing. Like where if you ban guns or you just get rid of them, or if they create more gun laws restricting the use of guns, or where you can have them or where you can't have them, the only people who are going to have guns are going to be the criminals. And the fact is, because criminals, first off, don't obey the law. So therefore, it's like gun-free zones. Okay, you were talking about gun-free zones. Where do most mass shootings tend to happen? In gun-free zones. Like the signs didn't magically work. Like it's like they wanted to break the law and they did. So like by banning the guns does not prevent the bad people from having the guns. It only prevents good people from being able to defend themselves. That's really the only thing that it does. And when I would get into this argument and I would point these things out, which to me seem very logical and like just easy to understand, it's a very simple concept of good and bad, and it's the operator, not the tool, and how these things are used. But then like you get right down to the heart of the matter, and the one response I remember hearing, which I just had to laugh, and I couldn't even just continue the argument, because at that point it's like there's no convincing this person. Like it's just, this is like talking to a potted plant. They said, well, you know what, I just don't like them, so I don't think anybody should have them. Like, well, great, okay, that's fascism. It's like now who's the fascist? All right, we're done. We don't have to have this conversation anymore. You don't like something, so nobody can have it.
Oh, the other thing to bring up with when you have these conversations with people is that they're all pro banning that, but then you tell people that is literally the slippery slope fallacy. You start doing that, then you just can make the argument for anything if there's a reason you think it. That's why, people would say ban porn. But the problem with doing that is people are going to be like, well, whatever I don't like, I can ban it. I don't really care if people smoke. I could care less if people smoke. I think people should stop, not smoke at all. Should I get smoking banned because I just don't like it? That's where it's not that people are saying these things are bad. It's just that if you do that, everything starts coming into question, and it's better to have the system we have now where pretty much most things are allowed, and if you kind of want to consume them, you can. I'd rather have that, because if you start banning stuff, it just becomes a big, dirty, disgusting territory that none of us want to get into. It just makes no sense, honestly. I think we have the best system possible for it right now, even though there's horrible outcomes with this. I'm not saying there's not bad outcomes with this stuff, but when we start getting into like banning stuff, that's horrible. That's when you can make the argument for anything.
Yeah, just think about the slippery
like sugar. You said is bad for you. Like sugar's actually horrible for you guys. Should we just ban sugar then? See where it starts to get into? It's like, is that even worth the ban? Is the ban sugar? I mean, someone can make the argument strong enough. They probably would do it
in abundance. In abundance, sugar is definitely bad. I mean, like there's definitely good elements of sugar.
You should ban macaroni and cheese because that's trash, overrated garbage.
Not Kraft, no.
Good lord, man.
Well, still, it's
macaroni and cheese lives matter, man.
This is elbows lives matters. But like no, like when you start talking about that stuff, yeah, of course, like you're going to like touch nerve with people about like, well, this is my freedom, this is what I'm choosing to do. And it's like, and you have to allow people to make their own choices, and like that free will is like, it's already, I don't like smoking, so therefore it's like, I'm not going to smoke. But like if you choose to smoke, okay, then just don't do it around me. And that's your personal choice to the whole matter. It's the same thing. Just like, I don't like guns, so therefore I'm not going to purchase any guns. I'm not going to own a gun. But other people can own guns. Other people can use them. I like guns, so therefore I'm going to have guns. If somebody else by me doesn't like that, okay, that's fine. You don't have to. They're mine. They're not for you. It's that whole thing. Like, oh, you don't like drinking, I enjoy a beverage now and then. I'm going to have a beverage, So like it's that freedom of choice, the freedom of will, like that's something that, like you said, it makes our country like great and separates us from like the European Union, where like over there they will just ban stuff. They just openly will ban something, and that's law now. Like look at England. England's like, oh, they banned all the firearms. Okay, great. Now you have a ridiculous amount of stabbings. Like, it's like, did you really fix the problem? No, it just morphed into something else. You know, like it's still there. You still have a problem. Think about like the book of like Animal Farm. You know, like when like the pigs, and the pigs like they go and they just slowly just take over everything, and they start banning things, and they say like, oh well, the pigs can have this, but you can't, because we're the ones that are responsible for all you guys. We deserve to sleep in the farmhouse. You guys sleep in the barn. You know, like that type of shit. So it's these baby steps towards like communism, fascism, all these types of things. And like this, the as Ian and I always like to put on the Whiskey Capital, we talk about like champagne socialists. And the champagne socialist is someone, it's rules for thee but not for me. And those are the ones, like it seems to be overly prevalent on the left anymore. Like you look at Mamdani in New York, just recently elected as mayor of New York City.
Good lord,
This
yeah.
motherfucker is nothing but a champagne socialist. And the
I
reasoning
thought you were gonna
behind
say
that,
nothing but AIDS, actually.
no, oh, AIDS, yeah, nothing but listen, I have AIDS. I think he does. Like, well, the thing is, he goes around and he talks about defunding the police. He's like, we're not going to put any more money
Mhm.
into like the police department of New York City. Meanwhile, crime is like rampant throughout the city as it is. So like, you actually need to enforce it.
You
But
actually need more
he,
police by a
yeah,
lot too.
he's
Yeah.
not going around without security. He's going around with private security the entire time. So rules for thee but
Right.
not for me. You know, it's like you don't need to be protected, but I need to be safe. He's all about like fixing the rent, fixing like the rent costs for like apartments and whatnot, but he's moving into a mansion. You know, like so. This is the shit where I just, it pisses me off that people can't see through the bullshit.
Mhm.
And like to kind of quickly touch on one of his policies that just was driving me really insane, that people couldn't under that New York of all these of all, like, you know, we're talking about like Wall Street, like it was
New York's
like
probably the bluest anywhere in
yeah,
America.
but I'm
Yeah.
talking about just like people are should be financially smart about like what's going on like in like the city and whatnot. He wants to have government grocery stores,
I heard
like
about that
state,
one.
like,
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
and oh my god, dude! Like, so you cut the price in half. You cut the price in half of food essentially because he's not doing it for free. It's like, oh, it's going to be much cheaper. Okay, so he has cheap food available for people. What happens to the other grocery stores, like in New York City? What happens to all those? Well, they're not going to be able to compete because everyone's just going to be going to the government grocery store
Mhm.
to get their stuff for half the cost. So now the private grocery stores either move out or they go under. You know, like you think about the little corner shops and whatnot, those go under because they can't compete. So now you have just government ran grocery stores. What's to prevent them from then raising the prices? You know, then you're talking about a monopoly. You're talking about just like getting rid of any kind of like good market competition. Now you've created a bread lines essentially. These are the things that they start doing, and nobody really seems to realize what is happening right before their eyes. And
Mhm.
you know what, New York, you voted for it. Best of luck to you. We're all going to be watching from the outside.
You know what I think also could be the case with that guy is that he
Okay.
just said the right things that a lot of those crazy people agreed with, but then when he gets into the actual office, he's not gonna do a damn thing about it. That's my other
Mhm.
copium upper, like the way I would look at the way he's saying, because he said those things. But whenever I watched his interviews, like on Fox and CNN, I was like, "Are you really going to do that?" Like, it doesn't make any logical sense to, good lord, government sponsored grocery stores, which is just
Mhm.
insane. Then defund the police. So you wanted to, oh, the one that I hated, I just couldn't stand. He said, we're going to empty jails. I'm just going to point out to people, just last year, a lady got set on fire by an illegal just because he didn't like that
Mhm.
person.
Yep.
That's it. So you want to empty the jails. Do you also, we have to think with that one black guy who was terrorizing people on that subway, where that
Mhm.
wasn't it Daniel Penny, right? Where he, saved the people from getting terrorized by that guy. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
mean
and
that
he was
that guy,
demonized for it.
yeah, emptying prisons. I've never heard, even Gavin Newsom he's a horrible person. Even he's ever said some dumb shit like that. Emptying prisons, guys. Do you know how bad that there's literally people in there who have raped 1-year-old kids. He wants them to be on the streets because they're so misunderstood. These child rapists. How about we take Mr. Mondani and we put him on Snake Island in Brazil, butt naked, and see what happens? I'm just saying, in Minecraft, allegedly, always do that. Like, I'm just pointing out, this person wants you to live in the public square with amongst the most horrible people. I'm not kidding. He literally wanted to. He said, emptying the prisons. Why would any logical, sane person who cares about your safety says that?
I really think that, there's New York City's so big that, like, the hardest thing is, like, it can't fail. But I think, when it comes to any kind of bailouts that are probably going to be needed for any of these types of plans that they try to do, I think he's going to bankrupt the city first off, trying to implement all of these new policies and whatnot. If he does actually if he tries to do it, he's going to bankrupt the city. They're going to look for some kind of a bailout. I hope that, like, the federal government and, like, Trump would never sign off on something like that, because, like, you did it to yourself. No, absolutely not. You got to see this thing through. You wanted to be a communist city? Have at it. Prove us that, like, you're going to be the one example where it finally works. Show us. And, like, it's not going to. There's never been a successful communist or even, like, socialist scenario. And people try to look at like Denmark or Norway or these, like, Norwegian countries in Europe. But the thing is that they have only been socialist for a very short period of time. They've not been like that for existence. Like, they were capitalist, and since moving over to socialist style government, they are now going in debt. Like, they are emptying out, like, all the bank accounts. Like, there is no money in Denmark. Okay, so, like, when they keep on saying, like, oh, we have to look at this example, of a prospering society that's utilizing socialism. Like, no, you're looking at the what is it, like,
it's a very small sample size.
the forest before the trees or something like that. Like, you can't see the trees
anecdotal,
through the forest, whatever the fuck it is. Like,
Yeah.
you're not looking at the full fucking picture. You're just looking at one little tiny example, and you're not looking at the timeline that has occurred around it.
Yeah, it's just they're using such very small amounts of anecdotal evidence to justify, hey, this 1 or 2 places do it, that must mean that they're doing great. But they're not understanding how math works. The 2 places do it, not the other 96 places don't do it. I don't know how that logic doesn't work in their brains, right? The other 96 places don't do it, but these other 4 do. Just about the law of averages, I think I'm gonna go with the 96. I think they got the good idea right there. I think they kind of grasped it.
The best way to describe it to people is, like, okay, what countries are everyone fleeing to come here from? Like, are they fleeing, like, thriving capitalist countries, or are they like fleeing from communist, socialist, dictator, like, scenarios? Like which one are they fleeing?
Well, like, people say, what was the episode of, I think it was Jubilee or some shit like that, where PBD was talking to one of these girls? Man, these women are stupid. I could argue 95% of women are fucking stupid. This lady, she was like, oh no, Venezuela and North Korea are not communist countries. All right.
Oh, really?
If you believe that, sure, go live over there then. And they always say these countries are so great. It's like, because she said, well, socialism and communism have never been tried in true form. No, they probably did at some points in life that we don't even know, right? Because we weren't there in some of these periods. Let's just say they were tried. Well, they weren't good because no one adopted them long term, and most people that talk about that shit don't even understand. Like, I guess in theory, I could understand what they kind of say, what it's like, okay, it'd be cool if everyone had the same shit, we had access to the same shit. Problem is, like, no, what I get is from me. You didn't earn that. If I want to give you some of my shit, I can give you some of my shit if I want to. Their thing is, like, we want to have wealth distributed equally. We want to have everyone to have the access to the same resource, which pretty much is communism, right? Everyone gets access to the same stuff. It's like utopia idea that they keep thinking about. That's just not a practical thing. There's this thing that we have in League, which is like sports too. It's like you have the ideas in theory, the end of them that practice in real life. That's a great idea in theory, that we should all sing Kumbaya and hold hands. No, that's not how that works in real life. There are people in real life that will, like, literally kill you because, I don't know, you looked at their wife wrong. That's how our life goes,
I mean, like, it's human nature to be competitive. like,
Yeah.
and want to end up on top. Yeah, like, hey Lindy, what's going on, buddy? But like, yeah, like, to think that everyone's just going to be okay with mediocrity,
Yeah.
work. It never works. And like to me, like when you said before, like, oh well, it's never been tried in its true form. It's like, get the fuck out of here. What a cop out bullshit response. It's like, and so okay, so then the next time a socialist country fails, you're just going to use the same fucking example again. So, oh well, that wasn't true communism. That wasn't true socialism, man. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that
I'm
shit.
not
It's like,
kidding. There's
yeah,
the
I
black
know.
lady
I know
literally.
you're not kidding. I've heard that shit before, and like that's
Yeah.
why I just had to roll my eyes and laugh because it's like
It's
I've
crazy
heard
a
it
black lady saying that
before.
when, let's be honest here, you're swiping an EBT card because you can't afford Captain Crunch at the fucking supermarket. Like, you should be worrying about different stuff than what kind of isms or exist out there. Like, or even the whole EBT thing that happened recently. It's
Mhm.
like, I get it. Everyone go through like ups and downs in their life. My ex, she actually works in that field, and she will straight up tell you these, because poor people are always prayed these like nice, sweet, innocent angels that couldn't hurt a fly. That's just not true. That's just not
Mhm.
true. And it's given how many people are on these programs, it's always going to be 50-50. It's pretty much literally just by who you interact with enough that'll shape your perspective about it. These people literally use their EBT at fast food places, because in my city, you can use your EBT at fast food places, actually. They use them there.
Mhm.
You can use them at liquor stores. And they don't use these things for their kids. And people keep saying, well, how about you cut the money? Well, the money that they get is used for not the things that they need. And when people keep saying, oh, we need to give them more money, that doesn't work. You know how much? I forgot the actual number, but we've given this type of programs billions of dollars over the years.
Mhm.
Billions, right? Throwing more money at the problem doesn't solve it. I don't know why people keep saying that. Let's just put more money. That doesn't solve anything. It actually hasn't at all. It doesn't solve anything. It
Mhm.
just keeps going up and up and up. So more money doesn't help it. So the people that are, I would say a mass majority of people on the system are just abusing it. That's just what it is, right? And then remember, you're the bad guy for even just suggesting, hey, how about you kind of get your life together, so if something did happen with the government, you don't got to worry about that. You could just go to
I
the
don't think
store.
it's a bad thing to have like the prerequisites in place to
Yeah.
prevent generational poverty and whatnot. Like so, like the generational welfare of like people who just refuse to work and learned how to work the system to where like they will continue to get checks, they'll continue to get EBT, they'll get all the government assistance, they'll get the government assisted like live like housing, they'll get everything, and they work it out to where they can just do that for their entire lives, and they are okay with living in that scenario because they don't ever have to work. Now the simple requirement of like, yeah, you can have EBT, just put in 20 hours of work a week, and they're like, well, what, you want me to work like part-time at a job? It's like, yeah, like the whole point of EBT is to help you, like it's actually meant to like help subsidize your income. Like, so like if you're not making enough money to provide for you and like a child and whatnot, like it's there to help, like here's a little bit extra, now use this to go and get like the extra little things that you need, for like that week, that month or whatever. But like that's not, like you said, it's not how it's being utilized. And the fact it's like, oh well, you have to have a part-time job now in order to maintain that. I don't know, like it forces you to get up off your ass and actually like be a part of
Yeah.
society.
Yeah, and then
I'm
actually,
sorry.
when you work, you'll be like, "Damn." Well, it could be a twofold thing. You could work and be like, "I don't want to do this anymore because it's just too much," or you have this mind blowing epiphany where you go, "God damn." You actually want to progress further in life by actually making your own money. Once you make your own money, your whole mindset shifts. And I just don't like the general gaslighting that comes from people where you even just possibly suggest, hey, bro, maybe just do a little bit more with your life, just living off the government. How dare you tell them how to live their, we're the ones subsidizing their lifestyle. Of course I should have an opinion about it. And then you'll have arguments for people that say, but what about this mom who has like 3 kids? Oh God, this is the Spider. If you remember, did you watch the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire first movie where Peter was
Of
trying to
course.
get that money for Mary Jane to buy that car, and the
Mhm.
guy who didn't give him the money, he said the line. He said it like this: "I missed the part where that's my problem." So if a mom opened her legs and had 3 kids and she can't afford them, that doesn't sound fucked up, but like I missed the part where that's my problem. How the fuck's that my
Mhm.
problem? People go, how dare you say that? I don't got to take, what do you mean? I didn't make those kids. I tried to take care of them. But our system doesn't allow that. You kind of forced to kind of take care of the people. And then even though you're kind of forced to take care of them, you can't even suggest they make their lives better. It just has to be this way. It's like, God damn, well, what kind of system is that? We can't make suggestions that we're the investors. Think about like investors. We're the investors of these people to make their lives better. And then they just look at that as some sort of like permanent vacation that they're on. Well,
yeah, that's where it gets really, really tough in like that gray area of just like, okay, are you taking advantage of the system? You know, and like that taking advantage of it, that's the real problem there, because like, oh, I'll just keep having kids, I'll get more money and I'll never have to really work. And like, to me, it's like that's not a solution. But like, so then what would be the alternative? Like, okay, do you like force them to not have kids anymore? Or like it's like, you can't really do that. It's like, oh, we're not going to give you money now, like to be able to provide for those kids. It's like, well, like that seems kind of cold and unfair to the kids who are kind of innocent in the entire scenario, because it's really the mom that's fucked up, you know. So it's like, all right, so what's the solution? How do you fix that? That is a cultural and societal issue that we have, that is being essentially like prohibited by like the government. The government is basically like, putting in the incentives there
they want
to
you to be a single
create
mom.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then the other thing that to go over with this is like, because I've known people that have been on stuff. I've been on something myself when I was poor in my life. Actually, even when you get a job, the incentive for you to be off the job is more like, because there's a lady at my job who has Medi-Cal or Medicaid for the kids. They actually tell her, if you work a full 40 hours with the pay period, like the cycle, then you actually get less Medi-Cal benefits for your kids. They actually even have little incentives like that, where if you work and try to make your life better, you will get less of this benefit that's currently still there to help you get past this rough period. So I understand it from every single point of view. It's been someone who's on these systems and known
That
who on
part
these
sucks
systems.
too.
Yeah. So even when you try to get your life better or try to get away from it, they have these little, I always got to nudge you back. Hey, you might not be able to get those glasses for your kids because you work too much. It's like, oh my God. Oh
Yeah,
my
like,
goodness.
now you gotta pay us for these services. And it's like, well, like, but I'm just now making a little bit more money. It's like, yeah, well, you're over the threshold
That's
now.
how it works with food
And
stamps. If people don't know,
you know
yeah.
is really bad was that shit shifted under Biden. People didn't realize that. People didn't realize that Biden actually lowered the threshold for like household income, and for people to qualify for like, like state like issued like benefits and stuff like that. Like, especially here in Pennsylvania, like, I'm here in Pennsylvania, and like that's something that happened, and people don't really seem to realize that, like, oh, Biden, a Democrat, yeah, oh, he's gonna take care of the people. When no, he did nothing of the sort. Like, and if you ever talk to any of those caseworkers that were like handling that stuff, like they'll tell you, it's like, oh yeah, things were so much better under Trump in like the 2016 to 2020, like because of the fact that, like, he didn't cut any of that funding. Yeah, they silently cut funding for when it came to like those types of
Right.
those programs. But nobody talked about it because Orange Man bad, like, therefore, like, like Biden, like old like senile
Old man
Biden,
good.
he must have been good. Like, so, no,
Well, it's even like
this
with
is
food
not like
stamps,
a
like you
good versus
said.
bad type scenario type thing. You got to call
Mhm,
balls and strikes on all this shit,
mhm.
and that's why it's like, the whole left versus right type thing. I'm kind of over it. I'm over all the bullshit. Like, yeah, I'm on the I definitely would align myself as being conservative, of course, but like, give me a sensible Democrat that makes sense and has policies in mind that work for the American people. Okay, great, cool. Like, sign me up. Let's do that. But like, that there's no sensible like representatives. There's no sensible like candidates on the left. And then like when it comes to like, like Trump's policies have all been in line with like basically a classic liberal. Thus why he went out to be a Democrat in the first place. He wanted to run under the Democratic Party. People tend to forget that, and Democrats didn't want him. So we went with the Republicans. So now Republicans bad. Otherwise, it would have been Democrats bad. So like all that's kind of bullshit. It's just kind of like, look into like what the person's saying, what they
Mhm.
represent, and they vote or just like support, like, from like what they're actually saying and doing. Like here in PA, we've been having, this like love hate like thing with Fetterman. And it's because like, all right, fuck this guy. He's like retarded. What the hell are we doing with this guy? Like, why do we have him like as like a senator? And then like he gets into office and he's such an embarrassment in the beginning. Oh my God, was he terrible? And like, and I'm not even going to say that like he's like one of the good guys or nothing like that either, but like he's one of the Democrats that actually will speak out against his party. Like recently, he's been speaking out against them for like, let's open the fucking government up. Like, what the hell is wrong with all you people? Like, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to help the people of Pennsylvania and the American people like get things done. And I can't do that if my party is preventing us from working with any Republicans and opening up the fucking government. So, like, like to me, I was like, all right, yeah, he's there for the American people then. Like he's making choices that matter for all of us. So it's like, yeah, I'm with you on that, man. And that's where you got to call the balls and the strikes. And then he calls out like how far the left has gone with their extreme policies. Like, I'm not with that. And then they talked to him about Mamdani recently in like a CNN interview. And he said like, yeah, he does not represent the Democratic Party. He does not represent, who I am or nothing like that. So like he spoke out against that. And like he doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like any, he doesn't, not any, he likes some of Trump's things, like with like, securing the borders, deporting illegals. You break the law, you get, you're thrown in jail or you're deported. Boom, done. Like he's for those types of things, which are considered conservative views, which a Democrat like would hate to hear something like that. But like he has like that D in front of his name. He is a Democrat. I'm not saying that he is like one of the good ones or nothing like that. I'm saying like just pay attention to the things that they're saying and what they're doing. And that's to me like where we can finally get away from like the idea of this two-party system where you have to only go like Republican or only go Democrat. There should always be this kind of like mixture of representation happening, because that's where like if you have good people working as representatives, like they're willing to not only speak but also listen. Like I don't know, that's where it has to happen.
Yeah, and then the other thing that you mentioned there is this is the thing that I don't get with average people in order to improve themselves. It's like, because they'll say things like, well, if I do these things, I'm going to struggle. This is what I can tell people. Oh, well, everyone has struggled in life. You cannot go through, unless you're literally just born in the most perfect scenario possible. Struggling is a form of going through life. I actually would argue that if you don't struggle, you won't actually know the values of certain things and perspectives without struggling. That's just my own fucked away looking at it in my own life,
That's
right?
true.
And people go like, well, if I get off these if I get off these government programs, how will I be able to? I might struggle. There might be a month where I can't afford certain food. What do you think all of us did? All of us weren't rich. There's months where we barely had food. This is why I told you, you just make it happen. And people go, but that's mean to say. It's mean to tell you that you're going to struggle in life when you go through a transition phase. That's how life is. And we all did it, and we're a little bit more better because of it. You are going to struggle at some point. You need to just pick and choose when you're going to struggle. Would you rather struggle and basically just have no money at all because the government just shut down because Democrats and Republicans are having a fight? Or would you rather struggle, but at least know, hey, I'll at least get a paycheck coming in, at least be able to afford some shit? Which one would you like? Because you're gonna struggle one of the ways. You're gonna have to just pick what struggle you want to have. It's just this notion that struggling is bad. It's like, yeah, struggling is bad, but you learn good things through it, and it's a unavoidable in life. Actually, it's just people. We all go through it. We can barely afford food and all the stuff we do, and yet this notion that you know that you could just somehow just not go through that because it's going to be hard is ridiculous. How did you get through life with? There's no way any of these people went through life with no struggles. It's impossible. It's like, goddamn, who raised you? No, you want to go through
Well,
life with no struggling? Woo! I got a rude
without
awakening for
any kind
you.
of like pain or struggle, that there's no growth. And
Mhm.
that's where you're going to see people who are like mature adults, like those are the people who've actually gone through some shit. versus someone who you can tell never really had any kind of issues growing up, never had to like, figure shit out for themselves, or actually made the wrong decision in the past and is like overthinking or like hyper analyzing something. Like for myself, like I know I've made a lot of bad decisions in the past, and therefore it's like, I try to always like learn from those. So therefore, like I go through like a situation, I'm like thinking about it, like, and I think all these different types of like possibilities of like different outcomes. I'm like, or if I did this or I did that, like, so I will stay up all night just kind of like pondering things, and then I'll know what I want to do, and I'll be ready for whatever I could imagine happening, and then like also leaving myself like with the idea like something else could totally happen that catch you off guard as well. But like just like mentally preparing like is a sign of like someone probably you've probably gone through some shit before, you've made those mistakes in the past, so learn from them, and think about what the fuck you're doing.
Also,
Maybe.
the last few things I'll ask you before we head out. I know it's a little late for you over there. So the
Sure.
first thing will be, do you have anything planned coming up that you would like to let the audience know about before we head out?
Oh shit, I mean like so every Wednesday I'm on the Whiskey Capitalist, like but we're over on Rumble and on X. So that's
Mhm.
Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can catch us. We basically kind of like do what we're doing here. We talk about like, but we'll show articles or clips and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And kind of like dive into different topics, whether it's politics or pop culture, just kind of, and just like all kinds of different things as well. Like, we try to keep it pretty fun and entertaining whenever we can. So there's that. I have my own Rumble channel, the Shawn Live, where I do a lot of gaming. I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders lately. Just like the game's just a blast for me. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I recently just created a TikTok. I feel like such a boomer, like, because I don't know how to operate it really, just figuring the thing out. But I'm like posting clips there now of doing that. Like I got to start posting them on X too. So I'm way more active over on X. Besides that, I occasionally get together with Toolman Tim, Lindy Rigg, who was just in the comments a minute ago, and Beyond Formal. We'll do like some game streams and whatnot. I think tonight they're doing something. I think they're doing Among Us. I was going to probably try and catch them later on tonight or something. But yeah, I don't know, like anything particular. Not really. Just kind of like follow me on the socials, and then like that's where you're gonna see any kind of updates of what's going on, the
Hell
gigs and
yeah,
live
man.
streams and stuff.
Can't wait to have you on again in the future for another appearance, because there are still things I didn't get a chance to ask you, but I was like, you know what? Got to save some stuff for the next time you're on the
Sure, yeah,
show.
whatever, man. This is fun. This is nice and easy.
Yeah, it's just it sucks because you still think to yourself, Charlie Kirk should still be alive. You know, you mentioned Charlie Kirk earlier. I enjoyed watching that guy just ripping the people in college debates. It was not even ripping into them. Like, I find it crazy that when people said, "Oh, he embarrassed people," oh, so you're just saying that someone is brainwashed and then they expose why they're brainwashed and then they get embarrassed. Yeah, most of the time that would make the person that got embarrassed be like, "Wow, I should probably go and actually think about my thought process and why I came to these thoughts." Or was I told these things to think and I didn't actually think about them? Because people are just afraid of just being exposed for maybe just being brainwashed or not knowing enough or being
Mhm.
convinced that they thought they knew something when in reality there was another layer to it, honestly. But if
They
you
don't want to be embarrassed. They want to be embarrassed that they didn't come prepared enough.
Mhm.
And the thing is, some of these people, they go in there with all kinds of notes on their phone, ready to make every possible argument about something. And what was amazing about Charlie was the fact that, like, he had so many stats and so many like different like cited events like in his memory that he could just pull from, and
Mhm.
they were accurate. It was that was always pretty amazing. And he never tried to belittle somebody for going up on stage, because like that is a nerve-wracking thing. Like there's like a few hundred, if not like 1,000 plus people at those like college campus events that they were doing for Turning Point, and like someone would go up in front of all their like classmates essentially and have to like prove a point or try and like argue a point against a professional like debater. It's like you should go into it knowing you're most likely not going to win, but they weren't thinking like that. And then they would get embarrassed, and then like, oh, well, he's just a misogynist because he said mean things to a female, but he didn't say anything about the female. He just said things like, well, you're not educated on this, or you never looked into this, or he would just kind of point out the fact that like this is the truth and you've been lied to.
And the last thing I'll ask you, man, is do you have any shout outs you want to get to anyone in particular, and anything else you want to say before you head out?
I would say like you can follow all the stuff like if you go to solo.to/I'm Shawn Cav, we have all the links there for the socials, everything for the Tritards. Gotta mention the Tritards because that's our gaming group that we do a lot of different stuff. I know Lindy did him and Charlie Horns, they placed, I think it was 3rd in Warzone Palooza the last time. So that was pretty impressive. That was like all like Rumble gamers, and to put the Tritards on the map. So that was pretty cool. Besides that, you can go to tritards.com, and it's basically like a Tritard is basically like we're making fun of like tryhards and like the sweaties that are in the lobbies. We've all been there. We go into like a super sweaty lobby and you're just getting like decimated by all these people who are just tryhards. So like, we try to think of ourselves as we're not the worst gamers out there, but we're far more casual than these guys who just live in their mom's basements. So therefore, like, we are trytards, and we just have a good time with them. We make some fun merch, and we just like to make fun of ourselves and just post fun clips. That's what it's really about anyway.
Hell yeah. So it was great having Shawn Cav on for the first appearance on the MSK show. It was fun talking to him. Also, Whiskey Capitalist.
Yes.
Got to have Shawn. No, Lindy. Good
Ian.
Lord. Ian. Everyone's the same. Oh, no. Gotta have Ian on the show one more time because it's always fun talking to Ian, actually. But I hope you guys do grow on Rumble. I know it's particularly pretty hard to do because Rumble itself doesn't make it easier to.
There are problems with the algorithms and the search function.
Yeah, because that was my big problem, was mostly, hey, the company should be doing things to grab new users. That's the main function of it, but they haven't been doing that. And I've been very angry about that. But, I'll still upload my videos to Rumble. I just don't stream right now until that is fixed. I am not streaming there. So then again, that means I can just go get my socks pregnant because that's just because I have no wife. No, I'm just joking. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. We'll see you guys later.